Welcome to Global Economic Press, where we deliver trusted global finance and economic news, analysis, and reports, empowering leaders and investors with reliable, timely insights. I'm your host, Alex Brady. Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking development in the drone industry. Dronedesk, a leading drone fleet management platform, has launched the first fully automated specific operations risk assessment implementation. This innovation is set to revolutionize beyond visual line of sight drone operations, a critical component for commercial drone growth. Stay tuned as we explore how this advancement could reshape the landscape of drone operations worldwide. Dronedesk, the drone fleet management platform used by more than 840 organizations worldwide, today announced a fully integrated specific operations risk assessment capability supporting both the United Kingdom Specific Operations Risk Assessment Framework and the European Union Aviation Safety Agency Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems. Specific Operations Risk Assessment 2.5 methodology. Specific Operations Risk Assessment is the gateway to the specific category and to the beyond visual line of sight operations that underpin most commercial drone growth, from infrastructure inspection to survey, mapping, and delivery. Yet building a specific operations risk assessment has remained slow, specialist work, and the population density assessment at its core has been one of the biggest bottlenecks. Dronedesk removes that friction. Believed to be the first implementation of its kind on the market, the new capability integrates the complete specific operations risk assessment calculation directly into the Dronedesk flight planning workflow and fully automates the population density assessment that drives every ground risk determination. Work that previously demanded hours of specialist geographic information system effort is now completed in seconds. Both frameworks, United Kingdom Specific Operations Risk Assessment and European Union Aviation Safety Agency, Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems, Specific Operations Risk Assessment 2.5, are fully implemented and available in product now. For most operators, the barrier to beyond visual line of sight has rarely been technical capability. It has been the approval. Specific category drone operations now rest on a defensible, specific operations risk assessment and the population density calculation, how many people are exposed beneath the operation, is where much of the time, cost, and risk of error has sat. By automating that calculation and building the whole assessment into planning, Dronedesk shortens the path from concept to authorized operation. An operator can model a route, see the population density, ground and air risk, and resulting specific assurance and integrity level immediately, and iterate the geometry until the operation is viable, all before a single form is submitted. Establishing the maximum population density beneath a planned operation is one of the most time-consuming and error-prone parts of a specific operations risk assessment. Operators typically have to rely on manual geographic information system analysis, exported map data, and consultancy time to answer a single question. How many people are underneath the drone? Dronedesk automates this end-to-end. Drawing on the Copernicus Global Human Settlement layer, the platform evaluates population density across the realistic dispersion area of the aircraft at its declared operating altitude, using the sliding window kernel method defined in Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems Annex F. It fetches the population data on demand, computes density across every cell within the operational zone, and produces a per-cell audit trail that can be exported for independent review. The result is a defensible, traceable figure produced in seconds rather than hours. Because the calculation lives inside the flight planning workflow rather than in a separate tool or spreadsheet, the risk picture updates automatically whenever the operational geometry changes. From the flight geography, Dronedesk derives the contingency volume, ground risk buffer, in adjacent area, determines the intrinsic ground risk class, supports the selection of ground risk mitigations, classifies the air risk class using live airspace data, and produces the final specific assurance and integrity level, all within a single self-contained report. The United Kingdom Specific Operations Risk Assessment implementation was developed in direct consultation with the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority, with key methodology decisions, including the population density approach, discussed with the Civil Aviation Authority's Specific Operations Risk Assessment Team. Dronedesk's population density methodology has been reviewed by the Civil Aviation Authority's assessment panel and acknowledged as a correct interpretation of the Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems, Specific Operations, Risk Assessment, Annex F methodology. This acknowledgement applies to the methodology. Each application is still assessed on its own evidence. For operators, this removes a common source of uncertainty. Rather than defending a bespoke population density calculation from scratch, they apply a method already reviewed against the published Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems guidance. Dronedesk reinforces this by prompting operators in-app at exactly the points where a national aviation authority will expect written justification, capturing that reasoning as the assessment is built and helping to smooth approval timelines. The capability has already been used in a live regulatory context, supporting a successful application to establish a United Kingdom drone test and evaluation site. Dorian Ellis, founder and director of Dronedesk, stated, "Specific operations risk assessment is the single biggest hurdle standing between operators and the beyond visual line of sight approvals that unlock real commercial drone work, and the population density calculation is the part that eats the most time and creates the most risk of getting it wrong." We have taken that entire process, the geometry, the density modeling, the risk classification, and built it directly into the flight planning workflow. What used to take hours or a specialist consultant now takes seconds. With a complete audit trail, the assessor can follow line by line. As far as we are aware, no other platform has fully automated this and integrated it into planning. For anyone trying to scale beyond visual line of sight operations, that is a real step change. Elliot Cork, director of KIG Systems, commented, "In my opinion, Dronedesk is the best tool for managing the risk assessment method statement and specific operations risk assessment element. I will be recommending it to anyone who doesn't use it." The United Kingdom Specific Operations Risk Assessment and European Union Aviation Safety Agency Joint Authorities for Rulemaking on Unmanned Systems, Specific Operations, Risk Assessment 2.5 capabilities are live now, available as a paid add-on on Dronedesk's Pro tier and above. Full methodology documentation is available at Dronedesk's website.